started and not wait on Dwayne. We do have a clock here, so I guess we can use that. I'm not really one to stamp and jump up and down, and I'm not going to, and I never will. As your supervisor, I'm not really one to be that way. I think we're all professional. We all have philosophies. We all know each other fairly well. We're getting to know each other, and we're getting to know each other better all the time. I would say that from my experience on this planet, at the ripe old age that I arrived to yesterday, that time is more significant at certain parts of the day than others. And like some of you put in extra time at a myriad of different parts of the day throughout the week, whether it's CBW or the normal term, and there are a million reasons that you could get back time at specific places. However, I would not recommend this time in the morning and this time around noon. Not that you would try to do that. I'm talking about representation. How, if you are here at school, which all of you have done this to some degree at some point in time, you leave when you need to leave. And it might be here, or it might be here, or it might be whenever, and you communicate that well, and I appreciate that. That is not as impactful on our place as this time, not just our place, but on you and on us as a group and on the kids and what they see and all those things. So short, simple, I think that's my philosophy. It's not the same everywhere. Not every person would say the same thing right now. But I know that I hear, and I don't always share it well, I hear the reverberations of appreciation when you're able to, in your morning slumber, help push kids out of the house in the morning and at noon after lunch. And it's not the best time because you don't feel like doing it, and nobody really does. That's part of the dilemma, because our kids are cranky in the morning. They don't want to go to class. And we don't always want to go to class either. But anytime that you can do that at the 7:45, 7:55, and some of you get your way earlier, and that's all philosophy stuff, and I trust your professionalism with all that, but I'm just saying that the impact of 2 minutes here compared to 3 hours here is much bigger on the big, much more impacting on the big picture in comparison to maybe the 3 hours you spend prepping afterwards, which is great for you and great for our kids, but it's not as the energy, it affects the energy. You're able to set tones here. This is tone setting for the day and for the afternoon as a whole. I'll just let it lie at that. I brought it up. It's prideful for me. And I don't have any less pride at 8:02 than I do at 7:45, but I just recognize this over time. Supervisors have talked to me about that and said, hey, my mentoring teacher, the teacher that I look up to, the one that sticks out in my mind, this guy I worked with about 10 years ago. He's a little younger than me, and I based some of my teaching models that I used off of him. And about twice a semester, I'd get to school, and the kids would be lined up outside of his room, well into first period, probably about 4 times a year. And I never really knew why. But it didn't take away from me knowing that he was the best teacher. And I guess that doesn't really reflect you as a teacher. It's just where we work, and I think it's impactful in supporting everyone else.
Does everyone else know that it's 12:40 though?
Oh, I don't. That was just actually I didn't even know. Is it 12:40?
It is 12:40.
Okay.
It's supposed to start at 12:40. After lunch.
And
That's why I try to get them at 12:35.
yeah. I mean, the 5 minutes early, better than 2 minutes later, or 10 minutes, but your time is valuable, and so I'm not here to argue that. but I think it is 12:40. Back when we changed that, I think that the try or the attempt at one point was for 12:30, and I was like, well, you took 10 minutes from us at the end of the day. That's the whole, 2:55 instead of 2:45 thing instead of 12. We want to keep that 10 minutes somewhere, so we can have it. And that's why meeting time, like, there's no way we're going to be on time for a 3 p.m. meeting when we have them, because we changed it from 2:45 to 2:55. And that goes for everything else too. You know that when we have a huge staff meeting, or like tomorrow, if it's a staff meeting day, when have those ever started at 4 o'clock? I mean, I don't know that I would call one of them starting at 4 o'clock. And it's not about that. Those times aren't about that. That's about us setting the tone for the day. And
I think you just say that those times are important. Like if the people that are in charge can't start a meeting on time, it's kind of difficult.
it's a flow.
It's a tone setter.
Right. And we don't, and that's a bit of a cultural thing here. It's something that we've all talked about, a standard. I'm not necessarily talking about a group standard, although I love a high academic group standard, but this is more of like, what's your personal standard and how are you pulling it up or letting it suffer at the face of mediocrity. But, okay, so that we are once a month meeting, we don't get too far away. There's pass these out. These are all of your, if you sent this to me, a couple of you verbalized this and we had a conversation. So if you're not on there, it's because we just talked. These are all your comments about where are we? How did I title that? What do you see for? We did two things. We did where do you see us going? What do you see us doing? And I was trying to get at some point to development of maybe a mission statement, but they don't really tie to the feedback I got because I didn't word it very well for you. But what I got was awesome. So I got a ton of comments here, and I just thought it was a good time. You get a ton of emails, you get hundreds of emails flowing through your inbox, or it just gets out of hand. And so I wanted to print them off so you'd have a copy. You can kind of look through what everybody said. And so as we're visiting and talking about students, at some point before we leave today, I want to get to where we create an academic mission. And I've got I hope I brought it in. I've got a little thing to fill out where you can put that in it, or we'll just write it. But mission statements. Every school in the world has a mission statement. Ours is, anybody know any of the words from it?
Pursue maturity and success.
And I think it changed since then to now it's like,
It's
Yeah.
changed.
yeah, now, well, you'll see them presented in different places, but there's one, opportunities and,
Northwest Academy creates opportunities to pursue maturity and success. Is our mission statement.
but I don't think that's the one that's under the picture currently about younger adolescents that you mentioned. So I don't know that that's
That
the
one's
mission
no
statement.
longer.
It's no longer? They go away?
This is the correct one.
So opportunities. What?
To pursue
To pursue maturity and success. But I'd like to come up with one that's more specific to academics overall. What's that?
We'd be good.
We'd be good.
Do to get.
Do-
Work hard, play hard.
3 words or less.
What?
It's got to be 3 words or less.
Our academic statement?
Our academic mission statement.
Knowledge is free.
Well, work hard, play less.
Knowledge is free.
Work hard, play hard.
That was on the statue in Animal House.
I didn't remember that one. So while you're sitting there with that, I want you to take some time and look through it, and we're just gonna keep going. I wanna get to, I know a couple of people mentioned us talking about students of concern. So I figured we could chat about that. Some of you don't have anything to say about certain students, and you'd just like to let it go a little longer, I know, towards midterm. But, Hannah was one. Hannah was one. Who else did it? Oh, Wesley. So Wesley is scheduled to be picked up either Friday evening or Saturday. He's leaving. In case you see something that's looked odd out of him or not. He's faking it pretty well. Well, I don't know if he is or not. He hasn't said he won't admit that he's leaving for me, even when I just
I
you know,
talked to him today,
chastise
and
him.
He told me today. He's like, I
Did he
just
give
wanted to
it?
let you know that that's why I'm not doing very much work. And then he was like, I think Travis knows, but I'm not sure. He keeps saying little comments,
So it did work.
but I guess he's
Little
not
bit.
supposed to know.
Yeah, that's what we've been trying to do, but he's leaving. I know he's still got a couple things to do in a couple classes
I need to speak to you after the meeting.
about him. I kind of figured he still had more to do with that.
Can I ask a question about this? Why did you circle and star certain things?
Oh, and yours?
No,
On
well,
Meadows.
in mine, you circled old hag.
I didn't want anyone to miss that.
Respectfully.
I like it.
Out of all this verbiage,
Pretty
And then-
excited.
Dwayne's PS, are you satisfied, Meadow? I did. We don't know me.
That's awesome.
I mean, to read through all this and miss that would be missing the bigger,
I
the
love
bigger parts of communication.
You said it. You
Serge said it. What did you, I didn't realize Dwayne followed it up.
Well, because I kept telling you, said if we talk about it, we don't have to have a meeting as long as everybody puts in there. So I was like, hey, do it, get it done.
Oh.
Everybody's satisfied.
Oh, I thought it was because you're an old hag and you're just
Maybe.
lame.
Maybe that's why.
Students of concern? Anyone else? Was Hannah, how's Hannah? I mean, I've read, you have your comments in, so I'm just going by last term's comments, and she's kind of unfocused, not engaged at times, but at other times is. A full class period's not. Somebody that's, if I say a full class period is realistic for her to focus in, is that,
It's like she's focused, like she's not distracting at all, and it seems like she's always doing her work, but she just does it very, very slowly. Like she's never, well, I referred her with Evan, so she's a little distracting there, but last term it was like, she'd be reading the whole class period, but she just isn't getting there.
If I had my chart of, to get to a nurse, you know, all those little